The subject is waste management. Okay, this is what emerging technology course. Okay, that itself is called as a ETC. B stand for Bachelor of Engineering. Okay, 105. Okay, which will be first semester, fifth subject. Okay, F is the series of the whatever the list of subject which are to be available. Okay, this is the what your subject code. You can remember the subject code along with the subject title. Okay, here the whatever the syllabus is to be framed as per the university, then you can cover all those topics. Okay, here the evaluation can be done with respect to finalizing your marks with respect to CIE. CIE is nothing but the continuous internal evaluation. That marks. Okay, that is of 50 marks. Then semester end examination marks, that's also be 50, but the total is of 100 marks. But whatever the semester end examination will be there, will be get conducted for the 100, then they will scale down that to 50. Okay, this is the what the procedure which to be required. Then with respect to the this 50 marks of the continuous internal evaluation, there will be a assignment, then there will be a internal assessment test. Okay, the test will be get considered for 25 marks. Okay, then assignment will be get considered for 25 marks. The total is of 50. Okay, this is how we are going to consider with respect to that of the internal evaluation marks. Okay, so that the properly you can follow with respect to that of the preparation of your internal along with your assignments. Okay, then only you can score maximum with respect to this internal itself, because the 50% of the marks will be there in the internal evaluation point of view. Then external will be there with respect to the 50%. Properly if you have planned, then you can maximize your scoring. That will be possible. Then the subject is very easy. Okay, then the pass percentage will also be higher. That will also be one of the advantages, as well as which is to be possible to score maximum marks. Okay, if you are capable to make the explanation with respect to the topic what is to be asked in the question, with respect to that preparation of the number of points, then obviously we can expect the maximum marks. Okay, this is how it to be there with respect to the subject internal point of view. Okay, then examination with respect to the external is of 3 hours. Okay, the internal we are conducting for 50 marks for 1.5 hours. Okay, then which can be scaled down to again 25. Okay, you are going to conduct the two internal. Okay, mandatory to attend both the internals. Okay, then number of credits. Okay, here it is the CBCS schema, so that the credits will play an important role. The subject is having 3 credits. Okay, the total number of hours which to be required to follow for the teaching is 40 hours. Okay, then the whatever the timetable is to be prepared with respect to every week is of 3 hours. The subject is preferably a theory subject. Okay, this is regarding to the what? The subject what is to be content. Okay, next the whatever the subject is to be there will be divided into 5 modules. Okay, each module will be splitted for 20 marks. Okay, in each section there will be option is to be present, then you can able to attempt the maximum 20 marks. Okay, this is with respect to that the modules which are to be present. Okay, here once you are going to study the subject, then there will be requirement to meet the course objectives. Okay, that is what? To learn broader understanding on various aspects of the solid waste management practiced in industries. Because the whatever the waste is to be get generated from any of the industries, you need to understand what type of methodology they can adopt with respect to that of the management. Then second thing it is that to learn recovery of the product from the solid waste to compost and the biogas incineration and energy recovery. The hazardous waste management and treatment and integrated waste management. Here, these are the method is to be utilized in order to make the product recovery as well as to reduce the amount of waste which to be get disposed to that of the particular land. Okay, that method to be also be one of the objective if you studied this subject. Then this is what the teaching learning process. Okay, here the whatever the method which can be adopted based on the requirement who can follow. One with respect to that check and talk. Then one more with respect to that making use of charts, handouts for the PowerPoint presentation. Then collaborative studies. Okay, we are going to provide the case studies with respect to that the evaluation what is to be utilized by the students. Then integrated the real-time application which are to be utilized with respect to the scientific tools. Then reflective approaches which are to be analyzed by self-reflected or the published data what is to be utilized for the solid waste management. Then incorporate inquiry based on the demonstration, field study, experiment and the project work. These are what the most common method which are to be utilized for the particular learning subject. Okay, these are what the course objectives and the teaching learning process are to be utilized in the subject covering. Then, as I already told, there will be a 5 modules. The module number 1 is for 8 hours, module 2 8 hours, module 3 8 hours, then module 4 8, then module 5 8. Then total is of 40 hours. Here each module is having the particular topic and content. Okay, according to that topic and content, we will carry our classes. Okay, with respect to the module number 1, here you are going to study about the introduction to solid waste management. Okay, in this, the classification of the solid waste based on the source and the type where which can be get generated. Then solid waste management is to be utilized in the particular application or the particular locality or the industries or the institution. What type of methodologies are to be implemented? What are the elements which are to be present in the solid waste management? And the environmentally sound solid waste management, because the whatever the waste which to be get generated will having the diverse effect with respect to the environment. Because of that reason, we need to make the understanding of the environmental effect is to be get reduced because of the proper solid waste management which are to be utilized. Then environmentally sound technologies, how best the technology you can utilize in order to have the effect to be caused by those where to stop to get generated by the particular locality. Because of that reason, we need to make the proper technology which should not have effect with respect to that of the environment. Those technologies also we are going to discuss. Then factors affecting the solid waste management. Whatever the management, solid waste management we are going to adopt, that might be affecting with respect to many factors. Those factors also we are going to discuss. Then Indian scenario. Okay, what type of method we are adopting in India regarding to the solid waste management. Then progress in the municipal solid waste. Okay, here the whatever the municipal which are to be there in the particular city, those are going to make the managing of the solid waste which are to be get generated by the domestic or the industrial or the institutional. Because of that reason, the proper management will lead to reduction in the amount of waste which to be get disposed in the system. The last one which is to be that the Indian and global scenario of e-waste. E-waste is nothing but what? The electronic waste. That electronic waste what is to be present in Indian scenario as well as the global scenario. Regarding to this also, we are going to discuss with respect to this topic. This complete itself is what? The topic we need to cover with respect to the module number 1. Then module number 2 is what? Waste generation aspect. Because as we already studied the classification, the same thing will be get reflecting with respect to the individual aspect without to be having the proper generation which is to be based on the source. Here, first topic is that the waste stream assessment. Waste stream assessment is nothing but the whatever the waste is to be get generated at a particular locality is to be made the proper studies in order to make the proper solution with respect to the whatever the waste is to be get generated as well as is to be managed. Because of that reason, the waste stream assessment will help. Then waste generation and composition. Here, the whatever the waste to be get generated, it might be with respect to the domestic point of view, or the industrial point of view, or the institutional point of view. Depending on that type of source, what is to be get generating will be having the different types of waste which are to be present. Because of that reason, you need to understand the waste generation as well as the composition. Then waste characteristics, especially with respect to the two. One is the physical characteristics, then another with respect to the chemical characteristics. Based on these characteristics, we are going to make the adopting the solution which will have the proper method of collection as well as the disposal. Because of that reason, there will be necessity to understand the whatever the waste characteristics which are to be present in the system. Then health and environmental effect with respect to the public health and the environmental effects. Okay, this is also what the whatever the waste which to be get generated, which are to be get collected, then is to be stored at a particular locality. Because of that storage, which might be having a direct effect with respect to the surrounding population, which are to be there in that particular locality will be get affected with respect to the health, and also which will having the environmental effect. What are those effects which will cause the human health as well as the environmental effect? Those we are going to discuss. Then the comparative statement of the waste generation and the composition of the developing and the developed nation. We can take the two examples with respect to the developing country and the developed country. Okay, with respect to that, we are going to make the discussion how the difference is to be caused, which can be adopted with respect to the solid waste management with respect to that of the waste what is to be get generated. Then the case study results from an Indian city. Okay, we have to take one example. With respect to that example, we are going to discuss it. Okay, that is with respect to the case study of the particular Indian city. Then handouts on the solid waste composition. Whatever the waste which are to be get generated from the different sources might be having the different contaminant in it. Okay, what are those contaminants which are to be present in that particular type of waste is itself is the solid waste composition. Okay, that is also one of the concepts you need to study. Then e-waste generation. Okay, that is the electronic waste where which can be get generated, then how which can be managed with a proper methodology. Okay, those are also be get discussed in this topic. Then model number 3. Okay, in model number 3, collection, storage, transport and the disposal of the waste. Because as we studied the generation of the waste, then obviously we need to adopt the proper collection, then there will be a proper storage, then there will be a proper transportation with respect to that of the disposal of the waste which to be required. That is the waste collection. How you are going to collect the particular waste from the particular locality. It might be with respect to the place or the location based on which might be a rural place or the semi-urban place or the urban place. According to that, the collection will be differs. Then the storage and the transport which is to be required from one locality to another locality. What type of collection components are to be utilized? Then what are the containers which are to be used as well as the vehicles are to be used for the collection point of view. Then the whatever the collection operation is to be followed, okay, in the particular locality or the area. Then what is the meaning of transportation? Then what are the classifications which are to be present in the transportation? What are the factors which are to be having the effect for the decision of or the selection of the transportation which are to be required for the waste disposal or the transfer purpose point of view. Then waste collection system designed. Whenever you are going to make the collection of the waste, the proper system to be get designed. Because of that reason, what are the factors to be considered for the designing of the waste collection? Record keeping, control, inventory, and the monitoring. Okay, if we have a proper recording and controlling and inventory for the proper monitoring which is to be utilized for the collection point of view, storage point of view, transport point of view. Why? Because we need to reduce the amount of cost which is to be incurred for the collection, storage, and the transport. Okay, because of that reason, the records what is to be presented to be get into the proper analysis. Okay, which will make sense with respect to the assessment, which to be required to reduce the amount of cost which to be involved in the processing. Then implementing collection and transfer system. Here, if you have taken a particular example with respect to the particular locality, what type of method is to be adopted for the collection point of view and the transfer point of view. Okay, that also we are going to discuss here. And the case study, okay, with respect to the collection, storage, and the transport. Next is waste disposal. Once we get to know about the collection, storage, and transport, then obviously we need to make the proper processing, and after that processing, we need to proceed for the disposal. Okay, with respect to that, key issues in waste disposal. Okay, what are the issues which are to be present with respect to the disposal of the waste? Because based on type of waste, then obviously which will have the different methods of disposal. Okay, because of that reason, depending on the particular type of waste, we need to follow the particular method which to be utilized for the disposal point of view. Then disposal options and the selection criteria. Okay, whatever the method which are to be get adopted with respect to proper options and the selection, based on that, we are going to make the decision with respect to the disposal. Then sanitary landfill. Okay, always in case of the rural places or the semi-urban places, the number of collection points will be differ from one to another. Based on that collection that can be get collected and stored at the particular locality, we need to follow the proper sanitary landfills. According to that, the effect which to be caused on the human health or the environment will be get reduces. Because of that reason, the proper method of the sanitary landfilling will be followed. Then landfill gas emission. Okay, whenever you are stored the large amount of waste which might be get emitting the gas. Okay, then what type of gas which are to be get generated based on the particular waste which to be get collected in the particular locality. Then leachate formation. Okay, always the layers by layer will be get collected in the particular locality for the particular landfill. Then it will make the formation of the leachate which to be formed at particular the storage place where you make the collection of the particular waste. Then environmental effect of the landfill. Okay, if you are stored in a particular area or the land, what is the effect is to be caused on the environment? We are going to discuss regarding to that also. Then landfill operation issues, because based on type of waste what is to be get collected in that particular locality, according to that the number of issues to be get followed with respect to that surrounding areas correspond that we should have a proper solution with respect to those type of issues. Then case study with respect to the what? The waste disposal itself. Okay, this is with respect to the model number 3. Then model number 4 is waste processing techniques, then source reduction, then product recovery and recycle. Okay, what is the purpose of processing? Because whatever the waste which we get collected from the particular locality or the industry or the institution, we need to process in a proper way in order to make the extraction of the material which to be present in that particular waste what is to be get collected. Then mechanical volume size reduction. Okay, here the whatever the size or the volume of the waste will lead to what? The amount of area or the land is to be required in order to dump that particular waste. Because of that reason, we need to reduce the volume as well as the size as per the requirement or as per the possibility. Then components are to be utilized for the separation. Or the segregation method is to be utilized in order to segregate the different types of waste. It might be a type of organic or the inorganic, wet waste or dry waste. Depending on that, the particular components are to be utilized in order to make the segregation or the separation of the waste which are to be get collected in the system. Then drying and dewatering, because there will be a water contaminant which might be present or the moisture content which might be present. Because of that reason, the proper method is to be adopted in order to reduce the moisture content or the water content in that particular type of waste. Okay, many different methods are to be there. Those are to be discussed in this topic. Then source reduction. Okay, the wherever you are going to collect that particular waste, then at that location itself, we are going to make the reduction of the waste what is to be get generated. Next, with respect to the product recovery and the recycling. Okay, what is the basics method which are to be get adopted with respect to the product recovery and the recycling? Then what is the purpose of the recycling as well as the product recovery? Then what implementation and monitoring of the evaluation to be utilized for the source reduction? If you have a proper monitoring and the proper evaluation with respect to the waste what is to be get collected and processed, then obviously which will reduce the amount of waste what is to be processed in the particular locality itself as well as the amount of waste what is to be get generated. Then if you are adopting the proper recycling, then what is the significance of that recycling? Okay, that is also we are going to discuss. Then planning of a recycling program which are to be utilized, because the proper planning is to be adopted for the particular type of waste in order to recover the material which are to be reused. Okay, because of that reason, the method is to be utilized itself is what? Recycling. Okay, so that the what is the planning steps which are to be present in the recycling program also we are going to discuss here. Then recycling program element, the number of steps, the number of elements which are to be present. Regarding to that also we are going to discuss with respect to the recycling program itself. Then the commonly recycled material and the processes. Okay, for example, if you have taken a particular material, the paper, cardboard or the metal, okay, those are to be recycled properly, then obviously we can make the extraction of the reusable material. Because of that reason, what are the recycled materials which are to be present, then what method we can adopt for the processing point of view. Then a case study on the waste processing technique, source reduction, then product recovery and recycling. Okay, that is also which to be required. Then module number 5 is what? Hazardous waste management and treatment. Okay, the hazardous waste will have the direct effect with respect to the human health as well as the environment. Because of that reason, the proper method to be adopted for this type of waste, especially for the hazardous waste. That is what type of method we can adopt for the identification of the hazardous waste and the classification of those hazardous waste. Then hazardous waste treatment. Once you made the proper collection, proper storage, we need to make the proper treatment with respect to that managing of those particular type of the hazardous waste. Then the pollution prevention and the waste minimization, because the whenever the waste is to be get generated, if it belongs to that of the hazardous waste, will have the effect with respect to the pollution as well as the amount of whatever the waste is to be get collected, if it is stored longer duration, which will have an effect with respect to the environment also. So that the proper minimization and the pollution prevention method to be adopted for the particular type of waste which are to be hazardous. Then hazardous waste management in India. What type of method we are adopting in India? That also we are going to discuss. Then e-waste recycling. Okay, regarding to the e-waste, what is to be get generated, then how we are going to make the recovery of the material which are to be get present in the particular type of e-waste. Okay, this complete itself is what? The content of the model number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is what the brief discussion with respect to the syllabus. Okay, then what are the outcome we are going to get? Okay, that is what the outcome. The first, the CO1 is they apply the basics of the solid waste management towards the sustainable development. Then apply the technologies to process the waste and dispose the same. Because once you know the proper method, then the technology to be utilized for the processing of that particular type of the waste and is to be disposed. Then design working model to convert waste into energy. Okay, whatever the waste is to be collected, if it is to be processed in a proper way, that for the energy conversion point of view. Okay, which leads to what? The sustainable energy conversion that to be get collected from the particular locality which to be considered as a waste. Then identifying and classify the hazardous waste and manage the hazard. Okay, whatever which to be present. Okay, these are the what you are going to get the course outcome. Okay, that is what with respect to the subject point of view. Okay, as I already discussed with respect to the internal point of view. Okay, then the semester end exam point of view. Okay, these are the what? The textbook you can refer for your examination preparation point of view. Okay, these two textbooks are to be there. Okay, other than that, the material what is to be required for the study point of view also that will be available. Okay, these are the what? The reference books. Okay, these some video lecture series which are to be available in the NPTEL. Okay, you can refer this also. Okay, then mapping with respect to that course outcome and the program outcome. Okay, this is what the syllabus is to be available.